we light this chalice, recalling the Unitarian desire for freedom against any oppression, and in memory of the Universalist belief that God's love knows no bounds. Somebody once said, we need a space program because we need explorers. It is in our souls. Liberal religion in the Midwest used to be known as the pioneering faith, on the edge of the American cultural frontier. Will this endure as a value for us as part of the spiritual discipline of leadership? I ask you to now rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 141, I've Got a New Name. You guys should be lubed up and ready to go. No excuses now. Never preached before happy hour before. This is a new experience for me. One that I readily embrace, however. Good evening and welcome to the annual assembly of the Central Midwest District of the Mid-America region of our Unitarian Universalist Association. Yeah! I am the shy and retiring Reverend Brian H. Covell, president of our district, and I join my fellow board members and the district staff in extending a greeting and thanks for your gift of time, which is precious in being with us. I ask all of my board colleagues and the staff to stand right now to be recognized, and in particular, our Congregational Services Director, the Reverend Dr. Ian Evison, and our Faith Development And our thanks also to our musicians this evening, to the DA choir, and to our teams and drummers. Thank you. I'll try to give us so far by faith, you guys are going to have to carry the rest. For indeed it is good to be with one another as we deepen our faith commitments this weekend. Through the practice of democratic governance, which we cherish, which we'll do at our business meeting tomorrow, through the sharing of wisdom to build capacity in ourselves and in our congregations, and also to learn how we might, through our combined efforts, continue the work of social justice that's at the very center of our prophetic message.
Amen.
The program we offer this weekend offers a myriad of opportunities to experience our faith at its very best, we hope, and also at its most relevant. With our keynote presenters, the Reverend Dr. William Schultz, if he's here right now so we could recognize him. Himself a son of the CMWD and started his brilliant career as an intern minister at Third Church. And with the Reverend Marilyn Sewell tomorrow, and if she's here, she might wave. Thank you. We have a rare opportunity to hear two of the most gifted and lyrically prophetic voices in our movement call us forth to the spiritual dimensions of leadership. And so, for the next 3 days, let learning and inspiration flourish among us. Someone once told me that if you're a UU, the probability of transformation is always in the air. And let me suggest that it's no less true this year. The topic of regionalism looms large, to be sure. But even this concept is perhaps best understood as an invitation to revisit the meaning of how we covenant to be in relationship to one another through Unitarian Universalism. Covenant, to be called to a deeper sense of meaning through relationship with others, for others.
Yes. In
Marilyn Sewell's word, let this be the golden thread that runs through us and among us this weekend. It was W.E.B. Du Bois who said, "Now is the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our very best work is to be done, and not some future day or future year. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. It's today that's the seed time. Now are our hours of work. And then tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime." From northern Wisconsin, the upper peninsula of Michigan, through Illinois and into Missouri, we've come from a cross-section of the center of America to be in this place and at this time.
Right.
Our interests are different. Our skills vary. But surely our human needs are the same.
That's right.
From one to another. Acceptance of self and of others, the warmth of love, the meeting of basic needs, and the safety of home. Mindful of all of this, and the cry of those who lack all or any of the above, I invite you to, prior to any work, settle into this worship through stillness, into a moment of silent reflection and prayer. May the light of wisdom from whatever source and the strength of pioneers past and present be with you now and always. Amen. Blessed be.
Amen.
The offering that we take this evening is to benefit the work of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. From direct aid in Haiti, or in Africa, or for service learning opportunities here in the Americas, the UUSC affords all of us a context to fit ourselves today, in Du Bois' words, for greater usefulness tomorrow. And in so doing, we partner with all those congenial to UUSC's mission, within and beyond our denomination, who know that, and I quote, "Advancing human rights is the work of many hands." I invite you to learn more about this storied organization through its website, uusc.org, where you can read about the exciting new UU College for Social Justice, or, like I do, follow the Reverend Schultz on Facebook. Let us now take a collection to support that work of mission.
The choir is going to sing in Zulu and Ndebele dialects, a song that means go forward. Technically it means we're going forward, the train is coming to South Africa. It is the song of the miners who were brought down deep into the diamond mines that sang collectively to keep their spirits up, to know that they had to stick together and work toward in a difficult situation. We sing in the spirit of those miners and the collective unity of this choir to infuse that energy on your meeting this weekend.
Amen. All right.
My reunion, our connection. Let's start with a raising of hands, shall we? How many of you have been to a reunion, high school, college, or whatever? That's what I figured, because we are UUs and a scholastic bunch. I attended a mini reunion of my high school class last summer. In the past, I debated whether I really wanted to see people with whom I really never connected or even liked.
Amen.
Since I've stayed in touch with a small group of friends I knew pretty well. But I figured after 33 years, that's right, 33 years, it was time. Whatever grudges were once held, whatever conspiracies were once founded, would be long since forgotten, or so I thought. Plus, I have to be honest, I wanted to see how everyone looked, I admit it. Would it be true that they say, whoever they are, about reunions, that the gals always look great and the guys, well, let's not go there. But I know what you're thinking. And I was feeling pretty good about myself and petty enough, I have to admit, to challenge anyone to a half marathon who might want to do so that August evening. And so, I have to admit, I was wrong. And I'll be the first to admit it. Okay, the gals did look great, but so did the guys. One guy, very quiet in school, was the father of a beach volleyball pro in California. Since he lived and worked out with his son, he was like one of those walking infomercials you used to see on QVC on fitness equipment. Another guy had just hiked with a 35-pound backpack the entire New Hampshire part of the Appalachian Trail.
Whoa.
So much for me and my vanity. And once we got through the hugs, the handshakes, and the, hey, you look better than I thought you would. Then there were the stories, both banal and unbelievable. Because that's how reality rolls, isn't it? The prom queen turned newscaster turned genealogist who consults the United States government. The bookish girl in the back row of the chorus, and this is well before Glee, who is now a banker in New York. The school teachers, the radio talk show host, the meat-cutting blogger, yes, there is one in this country, the Elvis impersonator, and so on and so on. And this woman whom, as soon as I saw her, I still had a crush on her. And no, I'm not going to tell you, this is being recorded, she'll find out. And yes, I confessed to my wife. And no, she wasn't happy, thank you. Another show of hands for truth and consequences, please. Has this ever happened to you? Did you tell your spouse? Who are you to judge me? Anyway, the conversations were rich, astonishing even. And the party didn't end until the early morning. No one wanted to leave, and nothing naughty happened. So there we stood in the parking lot on a starlit May evening, trying to find the aurora borealis as we did in our high school years. Let's stay in touch, we said, and said, and said again. And they meant it. Social media made the event happen, I believe, and you know wherever I speak, and it continues to work its magic for the class of 1978. So-called friends have been listening to my sermons online, and they have been tougher on me than any of the numerous critics I've had at Third Church. And people once close really have deeply reconnected. Two women I know fell out of touch in college. One went away and did incredibly well for herself, and she lives in France. The other, not so much. But the woman in France invited and paid for her friend and her entire family to stay with her at her home near the Pyrenees for a month. Now that's extreme, I know, but that's the sort of thing that's happening. Connections stretched by time and circumstance, made closer by interest and technology. And it brings me to the topic at hand this weekend. Everyone here prizes their connections at their home congregation. And does your church have a Facebook presence? Those relationships inform why you're here, I would guess. To learn what's a benefit to your church and to strengthen that institution. But the form of the congregation, as we've known it, as we've loved it, is under pressure. Research shows that the emerging millennial generation is reluctant to join voluntary associations like churches for reasons we understand and for reasons we don't really understand. And baby boomers, and yes, that's me, and many of you, we age, and our capacity to give and support the notion of the church we grew up with, well, that changes too. The greatest generation, our parents and our grandparents, are nearing the end of their lives. When I came to Third Church in 2003, within 12 months we lost 10% of the congregation to death and dislocation, and mostly death. The nodding heads among us confirm the landscape and the mainline American faith traditions. The local congregation is embattled, but not without hope, I believe. And because of that reason, I stand resolutely with Warren G. Harding, not one of our greatest presidents, I appreciate, when he said, "Let us not drop anchor until we are out of the woods."
All right, now.
Zen koan from the 1920s. This is a moment of opportunity for us, a time for reinvention. For just as the locals may not have had the money to operate like we did in the 1950s through 2007, our denomination has to adjust. And the district, we know, is no different. We're all likely going to have to rely on fewer staff and then working strategically to give more people the opportunity to be connected to our faith tradition within and beyond congregational walls. And what this means is that we'll have to strengthen our understanding of covenant, to work with other UUs within and beyond our congregational walls, to share resources, to enable ministries on the issues that matter most to us. The Chicago area UUs have developed, through cooperation, a radio show that reaches people across this district, across the boundaries of our developing region, and into homes across the globe. How do we know? Because they tell us on our Facebook page. It's reconnected women and men to the faith of their youth, and brought others who knew nothing about us into a local church. 27 congregations make this happen every Sunday night. We in the CMWD share staff across the 3 districts, Heartland to our east, Prairie Star to our west, and the folks who know the most about fundraising on our staff, who know the most about religious education, who know the most about church conflict, now consult from Minnesota to Kentucky or from Michigan to Kansas. We need, I believe, to build a governance structure to support all of this and to support you and your church homes. One that's sustainable, future-oriented, and agile. And we on your district board will not and cannot do this without your advice and your consent. And that advice and your consent is what I aspire to secure this weekend. This does not mean silent agreement when you're overwhelmed by the issues. What it does mean, I believe, is patient, deliberative discussion about how we might unlock the potential of liberal religion in this region with Midwestern needs and Midwestern emphases to become a more vital presence in justice and religion in the 21st century we now inhabit.
Right.
In his personal Odyssey statement given last night, the Reverend Dr. Lee Barker, president at Meadville Lombard, our Mid-America UU seminary, shared an insight. He found, as he talked with other seminary presidents, that evangelicals, Christian evangelicals, since they have a robust, almost unwavering theology, they have the ability to take on risk and to be less concerned about buildings and locations and to move and to meet the needs of growth, the exigencies of the moment. And that perhaps liberals are less able to take on risk since we offer a more flexible belief system, yes, that paradoxically is grounded in the practices of a specific building and a group of people. Think about it, just for 1 second, and look around if you have to. Don't you know folks who define themselves by the UU church that they go to, who say that they are, name your modifier, church Unitarian, and not as a member of the UUA? I'm a minister at a church I love dearly, but I'm an adherent of our Unitarian Universalist Association first. I seek to live our principles and purposes wherever I serve, following the guidance of our UU Ministers Association. We need strong congregations, yes, but ones that can help people live UU values far beyond our walls. And I believe a new regional governance system, one not set in stone to last eternity, but one agile enough to meet the needs of the moment. That's what we need. That's where I stand anyway, or where I'm moving toward. And I will engage you on this.
Okay.
The reunion confirmed for me that my friends are hungry to stay close to those who knew them when and who stay connected in new and deeply moving ways, physically and virtually. And so do you, I think. So do you. There are new ways to be in relationship to enrich that which we know best. There's a president in a small Iowa church that can use your wisdom. Different perhaps than holding the hand of that member who just lost a loved one in your home congregation, but it's still a way to walk your faith.
Right.
Just like the Waterville High class of 1978, you, all of you, are my people. I take what you say and what you do seriously. And now is the time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season, to ensure that the legacy of our past embraces the promise of tomorrow. DA is our reunion. Let's reaffirm our covenant, our connection, to become the faith that we can only dare imagine. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Intellect and spirit, body and mind, heart and soul. Let us covenant again to lead the faith that we love. Marty, do you want us all to stand for Sia Humba, the postlude?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Our Congregational Services Director and Ms. Davenport Dexton, there she is, to come forward.
Welcome. We are so glad that you are all here with us this evening. And we're looking forward to a wonderful weekend. The wine and beer bar will be open for a while, and Bill will start at 7:30, so we're looking forward to hearing from him as well. I wanted to just take a moment to lift up our staff members who have worked tirelessly to make this all happen. Peggy Bocard, standing in the back. And Gretchen Oman, who is she here? She's teleported away. Oh, well. Gretchen Oman as well. And Michelle Richards has also worked, and a whole crew of volunteers who have volunteered to help out with various tasks throughout the weekend. Perhaps some of you have no idea how much work goes into preparing for something like this, but it has literally been probably 10 to 12 hours a day for the past 10 to 12 days in a row for our staff. So we really want to honor all of the work that they put into it. Thank you.
Right.
And I want to thank you for all you do for our association. I feel, and we feel as a staff, so grateful for the support and care that you give our movement in all the various ways that you're involved. That is really what makes the whole thing work. And it's just deeply gratifying to have the privilege to be your leader. Also, I want to say on a personal note, when my father passed away a short time ago, many of you were wonderfully caring, and I really personally, my family and I really thank you for that.
All right.
So we'll have a few-minute break, and Bill will get started at 7:30, and glad you're all here. Have a great time.